You recognize this sound?
Yes.
Hold on. I had a good point, sorry. Here we go. Is that somebody trying to slay a dragon?
Yes.
Somebody trying to start a lawnmower? Is that somebody trying to wrestle a grizzly bear? That's right. That is sleep apnea at its finest. Sleep apnea is a silent killer, and that's something that I have. You may ask, what is sleep apnea? It is I keep forgetting I've had this PowerPoint. I'm not used to it here. Sleep apnea is a complete or partial obstruction of the upper airway, specifically at the top of your trachea. So when you sleep and you lie on your back, there you have soft tissue in your face that falls to the back of your throat, and it obstructs that airway, whether you're breathing in through your nose or through your mouth. So what that results in are shallow breaths or even pause breaths. So as you could hear from that, the person was grasping for air. So a lot of times when people are sleeping, they'll hear, that's what you'll hear a lot. When it comes to that though, it can last for up to 20 to 40 seconds on average. So think about that. Somebody is sleeping and they stop breathing for 20 to 40 seconds a night. When breathing is paused though, carbon dioxide builds up in the bloodstream, and things called chemoreceptors in the bloodstream note the high carbon dioxide levels. And when that happens, the brain is signaled to awake the person. So think about that. Every time that you stop breathing, you're waking up and then falling back asleep, and then waking up and falling back asleep on a constant basis throughout the night. The brain is signaled to awaken the person, which clears the airway and allows breathing to resume. Breathing normally will restore oxygen levels and the person will fall asleep again. Like I said, on a continuous basis throughout the night, people are falling asleep and then waking up. People with sleep apnea experience reduced or no slow wave sleep and spend less time in REM sleep. So think about that. They're not getting the deep sleep. They're very light sleepers. That's me to a T. Diagnosis. People really aren't diagnosed unless somebody tells them, you stop breathing when you sleep. And I think that's something that you need to get checked out. That was something that I wasn't made aware of until I met my wife, and she noticed it. Normally what will happen with that, a lot of the main common signs are extreme daytime sleepiness. So people are falling asleep during the day. They can't keep their eyes open. But the big one for me was fatigue. I'm a morning person. I would wake up and fatigue would hit me throughout the day. Other signs that I had that made me want to go get tested was I had restless sleep, and I also am a loud snorer. My wife was sure to point that out to me as well. There are a lot of risk factors that play into sleep apnea, but there are a few that stand above the rest. The first is being a male, being over 40, having a large neck size, 16 to 17 inches wide, having allergies, having sinus problems, high blood pressure, and family history. I check all of those boxes except for being over 40. So I'm sure if some of my family members would have gotten tested in the past, they would have been diagnosed with it as well. So kind of I've been behind the 8 ball the entire time. When it comes to health concerns with sleep apnea, there's also a lot of things that play into it, specifically with your heart. It can lead to heart problems and also a stroke. That constant waking of your body stresses your body out. So when you have that happening, your hormones rise, which causes your blood pressure to rise, which can affect your heart, which can also lead to stroke. Also, another big thing with that is heart disease. If you have sleep apnea and you don't get diagnosed with it for 15 to 20 years, you have low oxygen flow within your body. So that's affecting the flow to your arteries, to your brain, and to your heart. This one actually surprised me, but sleep apnea can also lead to weight gain, and also can help. It doesn't help you to lose weight as well. When you're overweight, you can have these fatty deposits in your neck that block breathing at night. On the flip side, no pun intended there, sleep apnea can make your body release more of the hormone ghrelin, which makes you crave carbs and sweets. Because of this, when you're tired all the time, you might not be able to turn the food you eat into energy as efficiently, which can lead to weight gain. That was kind of surprising. The other health concern that I found was insomnia for your loved one. You may be able to sleep with sleep apnea, but if they're not sleeping, they're going to have issues. And here's a diagram of how the sleep apnea works. As you can see, the soft tissue falls down and the airway can't get through. My sleep apnea story. I was diagnosed in October of 2017. This was leading up to the time that Jace was born. I was not sleeping well at all for obvious reasons, and then after he was born, it gave me a little bit more motivation to go get tested. With that being said, I had 2 sleep studies done at Ohio State Hospital. The first one is to determine, number 1, if you have sleep apnea, and if you do, they have you come back to be tested with a CPAP machine. I was determined to have it, and I have a 7 AHI, which means that I stopped breathing 7 times every hour throughout the night. And if I'm getting 6 to 8 hours of sleep a night, that adds up. So that's close to 50 times a night that I wasn't breathing. The test wasn't that fun at all, and my story is kind of funny because when you go in, they put sensors all over your body, your chest, your inner thighs, your back, your head, your neck, all over the place. And I got a picture to show here in a little bit. And for me specifically, it wasn't fun because 2017 ALCS Game 6 was my second sleep study night, and I had to go to bed early, and the game was tied when I went to bed, so I didn't know who won the game until I woke up the next morning. And as you can see, that's what it looks like. Yeah, but it's totally worth it. When it comes to treatment, first off, people can lose weight. That's been shown to be active, to help people with it, but the main thing is that the condition is still there. So even if you lose 150, 200 pounds, you're still gonna have sleep apnea. You may lower the number of times that you quit breathing at night, but the condition is still there. Also surgery. The main surgery is people will have to their soft tissue and removal of their tonsils, so it helps with the airflow. That is kind of the same thing with the weight loss. You can have the surgery, but the condition will still probably be there. There are also other extensive surgeries that lie within your nose, your jaw, and your neck, but those are more life-threatening. Most people, like myself, turn to old reliable, and that's a CPAP machine. CPAP stands for continuous positive airway pressure. So what it does is it provides pressure in your mouth or your nose throughout the night to help you breathe. There are all different kinds of masks. So there's the one for the mouth breathers that people like to call. If people sleep through their mouth, it provides the airway through there. This is how mine is. Mine's not pink, but mine goes on the nose. And this one is nice because it forces me to keep my mouth closed at night. If I open my mouth, all this air comes out, and it's really, really uncomfortable. And for the heavy, severe sleep apnea people, you have the one that goes over the nose and the mouth. Those are the people that severe is considered more than 30 times they stop breathing at night, and I know people like that. And also too, with anything, people like to make a buck off of these types of things, so they have enhancements to sleep apnea machines. So I found this one online. It's kind of a play on the movie Alien, and Father's Day is coming up, so if that was given to me, I wouldn't mind at all. So I found that kind of funny. But in conclusion, this is, in all seriousness, this is a serious condition. If you know somebody who has this, encourage them to go get tested. Yeah, the studies aren't fun. I can attest to that, but I can also attest to it works. I can't sleep without my mask anymore. If I don't use it, I feel groggy, I feel tired, I wake up with headaches, because in all seriousness, if sleep apnea is life-threatening, because if it doesn't kill you, something else might. And as it says for people in the back, according to my wife, I snore in one of these nights I may stop breathing. The other guy says because of sleep apnea, and he says no, because her hands will be around my throat. Thank you very much.